Hello and welcome to episode 124 of Masters of the Forge. I'm Adam, and this is Jason.
Hey, Adam. Hello, everyone else. How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing fairly well. You know what? I'd be doing a lot better if I'd opened up our show notes. That's totally fine. I literally just got back from a 10-mile hike up in the Adirondacks, and I am ready to pass out. But tomorrow I have a long day of painting, baby stuff, and playing Warhammer. So
yes,
there is no option but to do this now if we want to have this out for February. So
yeah.
I had a lovely hike. It was really, really nice. And I think it was called Avalanche Lake.
Okay.
So in the middle of winter, which is fine. It's fine.
It's not going to be cold at all.
No, it's not. It was really cold, but it was fine. I like hiking in the winter because there are no snakes to worry about. And I'm kind of one of those people that always worries about that kind of thing. And also, the ticks are generally buried under several feet of snow. So that's also much better. So I like winter hiking. I've been on a few so far, and I really recommend it.
Cool.
So I think I already did my Beyond the Fringe, actually. Winter hiking.
Oh, I forgot to add Beyond the Fringe. Well, I'll think about that real quick.
I'll do mine before. You can do yours after. How's that sound?
Rad. We'll do that.
Awesome. So, let's see. I'll do my hobby progress first. This week. This month, I guess. I moved our office upstairs.
Yeah.
No, I guess I wouldn't say the whole office. So, for a long time, our whole office situation has been downstairs with everything else, just to kind of keep everything centralized, localized, and everything, so I can be around, so we can kind of hang out together, Wendy and I.
Yeah.
Wendy and me, actually. Whatever.
Well, the two of you for now.
Office,
there'll be a third one soon.
Yeah, exactly. For a long time, it was just we had two computers in our living room, and we played World of Warcraft together.
Yeah.
Then the computer moved in here. Computers moved into the office. And then two computers turned into one computer. And my hobby garbage, just all the hobby was in here.
Uh-huh.
And then this past week, we moved a bed down here and all the hobby junk upstairs. So the middle bedroom is now a hobby room / library.
Ooh.
Which it's not just going to be for my hobby. It'll also be for Tito's hobby when Tito comes. I'm pretty sure we're not going to name the baby Tito, but at this point, it's really all we can name the baby because we haven't come up with a name yet.
Gazgul.
So Tito, that'll be Tito's hobby room for a while. I think I'm going to be one of those people that gets a baby gate just to put around my hobby area. So I will have totally closed myself off from the baby for a little while until the baby learns how to climb. Which is also fine. So we moved the office, we moved the hobby area upstairs, and which is cool. It's actually been pretty good. I like having all the clutter upstairs. It's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
And down here, this downstairs is now it's now a guest bedroom and computer room. Yeah. And that works out really nicely. And I'm in there now. I have all the recording equipment and stuff in there. It feels a lot more grown up down here. So I like that. And so I've been painting the baby's room this week and last week. And now tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to be painting furniture. So there's some old furniture in there. I'm just going to put a coat of paint on it to make it look nice. And I have to work on the light. It's like broken. I don't know. I'm not very good. like I have to shut off the mains in this house in order to do any electric.
Yeah.
Because one time my buddy Mike was helping us replace the dishwasher,
Right.
and we shut off the kitchen. We shut off everything having to do with the kitchen. And when we cut the line, it's hardwired. So when we cut the line to the dishwasher, the main breaker flipped and everything turned off. And I'm like, Mike, are you okay? Because I called up because he's the one that cut it. I'm like, are you okay? And he yells back, my teeth feel funny. So my house is from the 1800s and the 1970s and the 1990s. Like those, all these additions to this house.
Yeah.
I have to shut off the mains every time I work on electricity. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this light. So it was a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
And the line from the light fixture to the switch is blown.
Oh,
but
okay.
the actual continuous electricity to this fixture is fine. So I either have to replace that line or get a fixture that has a pull rope to turn it on and off. I feel like I'm feeling the pull rope is the way to go, as long as it's not low enough for a baby to hang itself with or whatever.
I think that might be the best non-lethal alternative. You know?
Right? I feel like you're correct. I feel like that's the way to go there. So, are we going to talk about Warhammer? I don't know. Maybe.
We'll get there.
So I painted a Grunstock gun hauler.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. That's my test model, basically, because I've got 3 of them, and I don't know if I'm ever going to take 3 in an army anyways.
Yeah.
I am very pleased with how it turned out. I was going to go whole hog with these Caradron Overlords, but like I said in the last episode, I just can't. I don't have time to go whole hog. But I'm running Barak Monar, who are a bunch of pirates, so the rusty, kind of run-down look on the vehicles is actually pretty great, and it really works. And the green I used for the accents, for the energy bubbles and everything, and for their eyes, really looks really nice with that darker scheme. It really pops. And the rusting went really well, too, so I'm really happy with that. Now, I also painted my Arcanaut Company.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got the base coats on, and then when I went to clear coat them, I sprayed them with brown spray paint. So that was super cool.
Yeah.
I tried cleaning it off, and it just made it worse, and so I had to strip them. I definitely threw the first temper tantrum I've had in a long time. I kicked a bunch of I kicked a plastic tote. I threw a bunch of stuff, and then I clomped downstairs and realized I hadn't taken my mood stabilizer yet that day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, that's probably why. And that's also probably why I accidentally picked up the wrong can after definitely picking up the right can, setting it down, and then picking up the wrong can again because my brain wasn't in the right spot. So, yeah, let's not do that anymore. 'Cause that's not great. I've been doing patented Jason Hates Himself Realm of Metal bases using Plastruct and Evergreen products.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love Plastruct.
I saw that. I giggled. I laughed. I said, ha, 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 ha.
However, all I'm doing with those is so it's like, it's just a bunch of textured plastic and pipes and I-beams and dwarf bits that I got, when I helped build my buddy's dwarf army. He let me keep all the bits. Yeah. So I kind of mushed all that together, and all I'm doing is spray painting the bases black, stippling them with... So I basically take out my orange, dark brown, and light brown apple barrel paints.
Right.
And I squeeze them out like I'm doing a line. Like I'm doing 3 lines of paint on my desk. And I take my big nasty brush and I start going up the line, like so that I have a little bit of orange, a little bit of light brown, a little bit of dark brown on it.
Yeah.
And I just messily stipple the bases.
Yeah.
And then when that's dry, I go ahead and do a silver dry brush over top them. I do the bolt gunmetal dry brush over top. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's all. And it looks pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a black undercoat for the models themselves. That way the bases have a darker kind of base on them.
Oh, yeah.
So that they frame the model better. So I'm doing brown on the models, silver dry brush, and then blue and bone armor and blue armor, white overalls. So like the bone colored overalls, which is actually the scheme for Barrack Monar. I'm actually doing a proper scheme.
Oh, good. That's cool.
And then again, green for the glowy bits, and then straps and everything are going to be various. When I do the straps, I have like 3 or 4 browns out, so I can they can be kind of mix match different leathers. So that'll be fun. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to any painting anytime soon. I need to paint these. I need to paint this furniture, and then. We have the baby shower coming up and Friday we're going to go see Postmodern Jukebox, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be super fun. We've seen them once, and we had to go see them again because they're amazing.
Yeah, they seem fun. I've watched some of their videos on Facebook. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You have class, and so therefore you will like them. That's where Puddles the clown got his start. Everybody loves Puddles. Yeah. I had a game with Alexis. I played my Emperor's Children. No, I played my Space Marines, my Star Eagles.
Yeah.
Versus the new Gene Stealer cult. You can find that game either on YouTube, where she puts her videos up, or you can watch Altar of War episode 13, or listen to Altar of War episode 13.
Okay.
Don't forget, everybody, we have that sister podcast where we play usually a narrative game. And this one was definitely a narrative game.
Okay.
And we take a break after every turn, and we talk about what happened during the turn. And we talk before and after the game about the armies and everything like that, and the narrative that we're playing. I think it's one of the better ones, even though I think I had my microphone a little far away. Yeah. Unfortunately. So my sound isn't as great as good as it usually is, but it's fine. The game was fun, and the narrative is really cool, and I'm kind of expanding the narrative of the Star Eagles. So go ahead and listen to that if you're interested in hearing about that.
Yeah, I'm going to. Go ahead. That is all the hobby progress I have.
Cool. Today.
Well, I'm going to listen to that episode on Tuesday because I'm going out of town again on Tuesday. So,
gross.
Yeah. Well, I went through and listened. I've got kind of a backlog of podcasts, so I had not had a chance to get to that one yet. But I should get it on. I think that's the next one up in my queue. All right.
Okay, great. Yeah, have a look. I really enjoyed that game, and I'm really happy with how the lore for the Star Eagles is developing. It feels a lot more mature now, so
that's good.
If I have time at all, I might get in there and kind of refactor the codex for modern times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Let's see. My hobby progress. Okay, so I started taking stock of the terrain that I had. I knew I'd been buying Mechanicus stuff, but I kind of forgot where I put it because that's what happens with hobbyists. Only hobbyists lose hobby models, and kits. So I think I found all of it. I mean, like there's a ton, but there was a bit that I'd put in places and whatnot. And so I discovered that I have a lot of Mechanicus terrain, but it's all single level. I have it from like the Shadow War Armageddon box. I managed to pick up one of those. I picked up a couple of the Kill Team boxes that had the Mechanicus terrain as well. And I think one of the Space Marines box had some Mechanicus stuff in there. I could be wrong on that one. So anyways, I just started building it, putting it together, kind of taking stock of what I need to buy next so that I can make this beyond just one level, but to bring it to 2 and 3. So I think that's what I'm going to do now, is start really focusing on just picking up Mechanicus terrain and making all my kit bashes, more Mechanicus, more Underhive type terrain.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it, because I was kind of looking at what I had, and I thought, I'm pretty sure I've got more than this. And so I finally just dug through the apartment and found everything. So I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know if I said this last time or not. I built and primed Magnus. I don't know if that was last episode or this I don't know. But he's built and primed. Haven't started painting him yet. I've been working on painting some other stuff. Let's see. I picked up Plasticard and some inks while I was in San Antonio this last few days. I came back last night. There aren't a lot of hobby stores in my area, and the one place that had Plasticard shut down, so...
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So every time I go out of town, I have to... I mean, I could order it online, but, I don't always know what I need, and I have to sit there and kind of eyeball it.
Well, it's nice to support train stores and hobby stores that have those kinds of things available at any time.
Yeah.
So it's good to support them.
Yeah, I try and, I think it's a hobby town in San Antonio up on 410 and like Vance Jackson or something like that. Our San Antonio.
Some hobby towns have Warhammer stuff too.
Huh?
Some of those hobby towns have, like Hobby Town USA, they have Warhammer stuff sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I do. This one didn't, but that was fine because I had already, I'm sitting there like, ooh, I don't have that. Ooh, I don't have that. I need this. If I want to go through and make more terrain for my Mechanicus stuff, I need that. And I'm kind of walking around the store with my arms full of Plasticard.
Now, one thing about Plasticard, don't forget, and I want to remind, mainly for the listeners really, is if for the cheap stuff, just go to Walmart and buy a for sale sign.
Oh, yeah.
For $6.
Yeah.
That is a lot of Plasticard. You can get you can make a lot of ground with that Plasticard. Of course, if you want a heavier gauge stuff or interestingly textured stuff, you still want to go to your local hobby shop. But if you're just doing cheapo, like plates on your vehicles and stuff, just buy for sale signs from Walmart.
Yeah, I picked up a couple of tubes. They're probably about a foot long each, foot and a half. They're actually quite large, and a bunch of textured stuff that I definitely couldn't create from for sale signs. So
yeah, you could, but no, thank you.
Man, it'd be difficult to make those pipes. It'd be real rough.
Nobody wants that kind of intense hobby time spent on. Like, you gotta think about what your time is worth, right? Like, the amount of savings you're getting out of doing a lot of those textures yourself, is just not worth it.
No, so that was why I did that. I also went by I don't know if they have these in New York, but a place called Jerry's Artorama, which sounds even more fun than the name. And picked up a bunch of inks. I don't know if it's regional. I think they have 19 stores, and they've got a few in Texas. And just picked up inks and kind of perused that area, kind of checked out what they have. So that was a lot of fun. I also picked up a Vallejo, or however you pronounce it, weathering paint. Haven't played with it yet, but I'm hoping to... maybe next weekend, depending on when I come back home. I don't know. So, let's see. So that's the hobby stuff. I did spend a lot of time reading the Kill Team rules while I was on my commute. I have been driving for the first couple of weeks of the semester, but I'm now taking the bus because it's, an hour and 15 minutes I don't have to drive. Well, actually 2 hours and 30 minutes I don't have to drive in a day, so... I think that'd be kind of nice. So I'm reading the Kill Team rules because I want to get more games in. I'm actually taking my Kill Team with me about when I go out of town, anywhere I can, just to see if I can pick up some games. So that is my hobby and my gaming, I guess.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, so you know what, and sorry I was late today. I am so tired. Oof. But yes, Beyond the Fringe is also hiking. I mean, it's been really fun. It's great to get out and just be away from all of the EM radiation in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's really, really nice to get out there. Winter hiking is not as bad as you might think it is. I had just 3 layers on top and bottom and an extra pair of socks. And you need snowshoes, though, this time of year for sure in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
Faux show. But you can rent them, or there's some places you can rent them. So this place, it was actually pretty packed. There were a lot of people on the trail. And my buddy Jay was saying, you know, during the summer, you can't even park there. It's
That's
unreal how popular hiking in the Adirondacks has become, because it's doable. It's not like you could go out there and die, but it's not likely. And, you know, we have a really good, stable infrastructure. So every trail has a logbook. Every trail is marked. Every trail has been maintained by, you know, this is what we pay taxes for. It's a great system we have up here. So
yeah,
I strongly recommend it to anybody.
Cool. All right. So my Beyond the Fringe is conventions. So I've been doing a couple of them for work, and I realize it's work. Work's lame at times, but anyway, let's see, where was I? Yeah, conventions. Yeah, I realize it's work, but you know, it gets me out of my office, out of my apartment, you know. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is I spend 3 days walking around a convention center, which sounds lame, but you know, when you look at your odometer, your pedometer, and you realize I've walked, 21 miles in 3 days, that's kind of impressive, you know? It also means I probably need to, I don't know. Anyways, I have fun doing that. I like doing that. And I've got one more that I'm going to on Tuesday, and I'll be gone for a few days. So I'm pretty stoked. It's nice
to interact with colleagues.
Yeah.
Or just different people, you know. You're not gonna make new friends like resting on your social laurels, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I met a bunch of people, a bunch of new students. Saw some people I had not seen and this is terrifying, I had not seen in like 22 years. That I used to like hang out with every day, but I hadn't seen them since we graduated from undergrad. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty rad. So, well, maybe 20 years, yeah. So anyway, that's my Beyond the Fringe, and I recommend everybody, get out of your bubble, go do something. So,
right.
Yeah. So,
Awesome. So that was a much shorter intro than last time. So
yeah, no kidding. We're not anywhere near as eloquent this time.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, we lost Buddy, which was really, 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 really sad.
Yeah.
Like ugly crying in front of several young vet techs who managed to handle us pretty well.
Yeah.
And we had it. It was a bad weekend. We're still a little messed up from it. I mean, Jamie's messed up from it, and she's a dog. So, like, it's not great. So, in his honor, we are doing a episode on the Goodest friends of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So, these are all the fun. Well, as many as we have time for, lore based on some of the familiars and pets of the 41st millennium. So we also have some honorable mentions from Age of Sigmar in here. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and do the first half of the Goodest Friends of the Galaxy.
Come here, boy, get the ball. Come on, Max, get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him his Zotabix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, Zotabix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh, boy, I'd better feed Max his Zotabix.
Yes, you had.
Zotabix is made in part from grade
Max,
A
time for
Astra
dinner.
Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins
No,
and
Max,
minerals
down.
harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert ducklings.
Ah!
Zotabix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached.
I just want to invite you to Frayed Paintbrush Hobby Progress Facebook group. It is a positive group set up to motivate us to hobby and then share it with all the other members. At the beginning of the month, post up your monthly challenge on the page, and then at the end of the month, you post the completed work for all to see. No pressure, just fun among friends. Once again, that's Frayed, F-R-A-Y-E-D, Paintbrush. Hope to see you there.
All right, welcome back. So, the Goodest Friends of the Galaxy. These are going to be arranged by goodness rating.
Okay.
Okay. The scale is 10 out of 10 to 15 out of 10. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Sure.
Also, I've created some just kind of slapdash rules if you want to add these to like to give your favorite character a bestest friend to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of these already have rules in one way or another, but they generally are either a unit or they are maybe a little boring. So what we're going to do is we're going to give, for many of them, we'll just have some fun rules. So let's start it off with these bestest friends, these good boys and good girls have a rating of 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Do you want to do the Canoptic Scarab?
Yeah, let me go ahead and talk to you about the lore of the Canoptic Scarabs. All right, so they're a scrappy little metal bug that has a very important role in Necron society. They're incredible machines that can fly and burrow with equal aptitude, and they are armed with mandibles that emit entropic energies that break down matter into energy, which the Scarabs use in future endeavors. Though they lack any amount of true intelligence, they cannot be overlooked. Scarabs are small, about the size of a human head. Ew. Sorry, I had a Doctor Who flashback there we'll talk about in a second, and are often found in enormous swarms directed by cryptex. Canoptic spiders are really any other Necron. Were they not under the control of the Necron Master, they would just be literal eating machines.
Yeah, they'll like, the way they work is they defer down the food chain of Necron hierarchy until there's no Necrons left. And when there's no Necrons left, they just eat. Yeah.
Well, it's,
sure.
Survival. Yeah, the size of the human head thing, I got the Doctor Who, which episode was it? The Master came back. Wait, hold on, am I doing spoilers? Anyways. I don't know if you remember that episode or not, but...
Oh, for me? No. There are no spoilers for me. I have watched every single episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which episode it was. I think it was at the end of a season. I think Martha Jones was in it, so it had to have been David Tennant's second season. So
yeah, they all kind of blend together, especially the Monster of the Week ones.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where are we in the notes? Now that we've wandered off to Doctor Who.
But under the direction of a Necron.
Oh, yeah, but under the direction of a Necron of significant self-agency, swarms of Scarabs are capable of incredible feats. They are capable of building any machine imagined by their cryptech masters or repair heavily damaged vehicles or structures. Scarabs are also a deadly foe, able to strip away adamantium and flesh alike with equal voracious ease. They are definitely the piranhas of the Necron world.
They really are.
Yeah.
They love to nom.
Yeah.
And they the fact that they can fly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When they are scarabs, they are bugs. So scarabs are not limited to the simple workhorse of Necron society, but there are also some designed for more specialized, finer tasks. Most of these nanoscarabs, such as the ones produced by the Canoptic Scarab itself, are used to get at tight places for repairs or to infiltrate the smallest weak point in an enemy's armor. Others, such as the Blood Swarm Nanoscarab and Flincing Scarab, are designed to attack living beings.
That sounds delightful, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it?
The Flincing Scarab.
Yeah, Flincing sounds horrifying, actually. It makes my skin itch. The Mind Shackle Scarab buries itself into an enemy's head and controls their mind. The Mind Shackle Scarab can lay dormant for a long time before the will of its master is impressed upon its victim, even from light years away. This can manifest both as direct control or more insidiously as less noticeable suggestions. See, that's interesting. That means you could do some really fascinating, like, allies if you say, hey, this HQ is actually being controlled by Mind Shackle Scarab. You know, that's
and it makes
been planted years ago.
It adds a level of, like, who's on our side, who's not on our side,
Right.
because the person can actually believe that they're loyal, but you know the Necrons are actually controlling their actions in a kind of a sneaky way.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
So what about Canoptic Scarabs in the hobby? Like I think there's just one model, right?
Is there? And the problem I have is I don't know a lot about the Necrons, but I do know that they do. The Scarabs are with the Necron warriors, and each are individually modeled, so you can glue several to a base or add to the bases of other models. They're also provided with little flight stands that let you simulate flight, which is kind of cool.
That's super nice.
Yeah, I haven't built a whole lot of Necrons just because of time, you know. But hey, summer's coming soon, and
Yeah.
I might be able to do some hobby over the summer. So you want me to talk about the custom tabletop rules, or you want to run
Sure.
with those?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so our rules. While there are rules for units of Scarabs, you can use these rules to add a Scarab pet to your Necron character's base. I wonder if we could add one to Bloodraven base. Sorry, just, you know, these are things that come to my mind.
You mean the Primarch of the Blood Ravens?
Oh, Trazyn?
Trazyn the Infinite? Sure.
Yeah.
I think he has scarabs. Does he have the Flincing Scarabs? I can't remember. Mind Shackle Scarabs?
I don't know. I don't have that model yet. Anyway, let me see. So, a Necron Scarab friend will fly out to attack any enemy indicated by their master. So they've got a range of 6, tight pistol 1, strength 3, AP 1, damage 1. So if the target's toughness is higher than the attack strength, the weapon will always wound the target on a roll of 5 up. This weapon may be used by the bearer even if other types of weapons, such as assault weapons, are used that phase. Cool.
Yeah, and since it's a pistol, you can shoot it when you're engaged in combat or whatever. Just a little scarab going out. Bzz. It's neat.
Yeah, that'll work.
I think scarabs are cute. They're super cute. It's like having a little robot pal. You know, you feel sorry for them when they lose their batteries. You know, they're adorable. They're good. They're good friends. They're good friends, even though they're not very sentient.
Well, there's an artist on Facebook. I'm trying to remember her name. Karthus? I'm going to get it wrong. She has a comic that she draws, and there's a servo skull that's a pet servo skull for a Black Templar.
That's delightful.
Oh, it's amazing.
That is delightful.
I've thought about, actually modeling one as a little buddy.
All right. Well, we'll talk about servo skulls in a moment. First, another 10 out of 10 rating is our snotlings. Snotlings are tiny orcoid species about half the size of a Gretchen, so small.
Yeah. Very little, yeah.
Since might makes right in orc society, that makes them the lowest of the low. Just the same, they're still good boys with a Z.
Yeah.
This is because they dutifully do whatever the orcs tell them to do, or at least attempt to. They're incredibly stupid and often get things wrong. But still, some orcs find them endearing and even keep them as pets, at least for a time, until they get cross with them and smoosh them accidentally. Maybe they sit on them, like Gazgul did to his lucky grot. Very sad. Snotlings don't even possess much of a sense of self-preservation either. They don't really notice danger until it's just much too late. So it's not like they are running away from the shock attack gun operator. They're kind of standing there picking their nose, watching their friends be fed into the shock attack gun and shot across the battlefield. Being so tiny and weak, they are worse than useless in battle, even when armed with a sharpened stick or dead fish. Even Gretchen torment them for sport. Just the same, they fulfill an indispensable role in orc society. They tend to the fungus gardens and squig pits, ensuring that the staples of orc cuisine are maintained. I feel like using the word cuisine there is not... I'm not sure why. I mean...
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it works. It's, yeah.
Okay. So, Snotlings have been available as models in the distant past of Citadel miniatures. There are many different assistants you can add to your army's bases, including ones holding tools, carrying platters of food. For fantasy, Snotlings were offered as a swarm creature, 4 or 5 to a base. I have a bunch of these guys. Most of the like gardeners and assistants I've put on bases. So I have a chef. Big Chef Grubzog, who is I use him as a Big Mac, but he's a chef.
Yeah.
And I have the grot the Snotling carrying the covered dish, but there's basically a little squig under the dish lifting the dish up. It's adorable. And I also have a bunch of the little fantasy Snotlings that I use for what are they? Blue horrors? No, not blue horrors. Not pink horrors either. What's
the burning horrors? No, ember horrors.
The flaming, burning, whatever. The little flamey horrors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're adorable. They have little nets and they're bonking each other, making rude gestures. I love it. So for custom tabletop rules, so like if you want to give your character a Snotling companion, you could either. A lot of these are the same. You might want to put them on a square base because they're not an actual model.
Yeah.
Or you could use them as a model, like just as an extra model in the unit, kind of like targeting or grot riggers and stuff are. You could just say that.
Yeah.
So a Snotling pal is often too scared to make any attempt to attack your foes directly, but that won't stop you from putting him in harm's way. At the start of any phase, the Snotling's master can pick an enemy character within 1 inch. On a 4+, the enemy character may not use one weapon of your choice during that phase as your Snotling pilfers the item in question. If successful, the Snotling is immediately squished by the enemy character at the end of the phase unless the enemy character is dead or you did not roll a 4+. If that's the case, then the Snotling immediately returns to your side. So it's... They go and they try to steal the enemy's war gear. And if they're successful, they get squished. If they're unsuccessful, they just come back to you because they kind of lost interest or saw something else shiny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny actually. I like that rule. That there's all sorts of fun chaos that can be sown with that. And speaking of chaos, our next on the.
Oh.
Do you like how I did that? I haven't even said where this is going, but
yeah, that was
this
good.
Is what 10
well
and 10.
Done.
So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is still a 10 out of 10 here.
So speaking of chaos, Watchers in the Dark.
Boom. People are going to stop listening to our show.
And the Dark Angels players are going to either strangle me or bear hug me. I don't know which. Okay. So lore. Caliban, the homeworld of the Dark Angels, has always been a place of strange inhabitants, not the least of which are the Dark Angels themselves. However, the Watchers in the Dark have been overseeing the world for thousands of years. It is not known if they are indigenous to Caliban or not. It is not known whether they are corporeal beings or reflections of stronger entities. Not much is really known about them. What is certain is that these diminutive, dark hooded figures sure are adorable, and yes, they are. I've got a few of them. I haven't painted them, but I've actually used them as companions for stuff in a couple of narrative games that we did. The Watchers in the Dark have worked hard to maintain the Dark Angels as a legion and chapter since before the Horus Heresy. They can read the skeins of fate to predict the future to varying degrees of success. This has put them at odds with the Eldar, particularly Eldrad himself. See, that's why I like them so much. You know, they're hacking off the Eldar. They're making they make the Dark Angels a little, iffy at times. So anyways, the Watchers generally work to maintain the status quo, even when the Dark Angels themselves attempt to screw things up and cause temporal paradoxes.
This is a thing that happened.
Yeah.
So apparently someone tried to stop Luther in the past by using a relic from the rock. They tried to go back in time and stop Luther. But the paradox, they would have created a paradox if they saved Caliban, because if Caliban didn't blow up, they would have never gone back in time to fix it. So the Watchers in the Dark had to make sure that Caliban blew up again when someone tried to go back and fix it. Yeah. So, but that in itself creates a paradox, because instead of Luther blowing up the planet, the Watchers in the Dark blew it up. I think I didn't read the book myself, so I was just kind of reading it online, So I'm not sure how that went down, but it was still a paradox, but it was not as bad of a paradox.
Got it. All right, so Watchers in the Dark also share some qualities of blanks or pariahs. Their presence is unsettling in the extreme to entities. For example, during Magnus's attack on Caliban, it is the presence of a Watcher in the Dark that sends the Changeling into total apoplexy. This is out of the Gathering Storm.
I'm sorry, dude. My notes are bad here. I don't want to mess people up. Not Magnus's attack on Caliban. Magnus's attack on
the rock.
Fenris.
Oh, on Fenris. Okay. Okay. I know that when the Changeling was running through the rock, trying to get down to the lower levels, that the Watchers in the Dark started messing with the Changeling.
Oh, that's right. You know what? That was Fenris, but the rock was there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're professionals, everyone. This is fine.
Yeah. That was actually one of my favorite parts of that book and of that series was, the Changeling is running through, the rock, just creating havoc, and all of a sudden the Watcher in the Dark just, stops him, essentially. Or it.
And it's not like they do anything. Like, the Watcher in the Dark is just there, and the Changeling loses their bananas.
Yep.
And a lot of people say that the presence of the Watchers in the Dark and the things they do are proof that the Dark Angels themselves are a loyalist chapter.
Yeah.
I could see that. They're also supposed to be watching over the unconscious form of the lion as well.
Yeah.
So
interesting. For the hobby, a Watcher in the Dark comes with the Grandmaster Azrael in the form of a helmet bearer, and also with the Deathwing Knights as a bearer of a perfidious relic. In both cases, the Watchers in the Dark seem to also be wearing power armor under their green robes. Yeah, I've got one Watcher from Azrael, and I think I've got one from a Deathwing Knight, because they're a little bit different.
Yeah. And it's so weird that they're wearing power armor under their robes.
Yeah.
What does that power armor look like, and why?
I'm just curious about that. Seems to be, one of those bits of lore that I think is probably in the future going to be expanded on a little bit more, but not enough to make it more mysterious and to keep the suspense going. But they're not going to, nail down exactly what they are, because then where's the mystery in that?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So their rules. Although Watchers in 40k are often little more than just tokens representing very reliable psychic power denial, you could take one as a buddy for one of your Dark Angels characters and grant them some special rules. So, if your character is accompanied by a Watcher in the Dark, then any units with the Chaos keyword within 24 inches of the character suffer a -1 to manifest psychic powers. Furthermore, once per turn at the end of your movement phase, you may select a unit within 9 inches of a model accompanied by a Watcher in the Dark. That unit must immediately make a morale check, even if it is a unit with only one model in it. If this unit has the Chaos keyword, they suffer a -2 to their leadership for this role. Yeah. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they pick your Chaos Land Raider, then go ahead and spend your command reroll on it, or spend your 2 points to automatically pass to make sure that those the Land Raider crew don't say, you know what? No, thank you, and drive away.
There's a little green dude. It's not Yoda.
No. Power Armored Yoda does not sound like a good idea. So next, also 10 out of 10, are Kroot Hounds. They are large, lean, quadrupedal creatures with a penchant for tracking, hence their name, hounds. The Kroot have a tendency to fight and kill any divergent Kroot subspecies which have lost their ability to adapt further. So sometimes they have these genetic or like evolutionary dead ends.
Right.
So like Kroot normally they can eat, they devour the flesh of an enemy, and they change to be able to fight them better. Well, sometimes the Kroot stop, and they can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. They've reached like this dead end, and the Kroot kill them.
Yeah.
But the Kroot Hounds have been allowed to remain. They're one of the very few exceptions to this rule. This is likely due to the fact that they are very good pups. Good boys puppy. And good girls. In battle, they employ sharp claws. They have strong beak-like jaws that pose a threat to foes of varying sizes. They are ill-tempered and unrelenting foes, especially when encountered in packs. Kroot Hounds are also used for garrison duty and as bodyguards for Kroot leaders. The reason why they're so well suited for these tasks is that when a Kroot Hound's hackles are raised, it's more than just a show of bravado. The sensory ganglia running down their backs are extremely well suited for detecting changes in the surroundings, along with a variety of this just variety of sensory spectra. So it's like not just smell and hearing, and like they can sense changes in the atmosphere and stuff. It's really interesting. In a theater of war, the Kroot tend to simply just set the hounds free and let them have at it, knowing that they'll just instinctively hunt down and kill non-Kroot prey. But if the Kroot are accompanying any Tau or any other allies in battle, the hounds will likely be accompanied by a shaper or some kind of handler to avoid any unfortunate interactions with allies. For the hobby, there is a kit. A lot of these good friends of the galaxy are fine cast, and this is one of the many resin cast kits on the Games Workshop website. Available there. Available is a loaded term because they're rarely in stock. You're better off buying a pack of Kroot carnivores and modifying them, or kit bashing some other wolf, dog, or giant rat models with Kroot heads or something.
I don't think I've
really
ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen that model, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of people go third party with those.
Okay.
If they're not going to Games Workshop only events.
Yeah.
Understandable. They're hard to find cast, and you want to run them in large groups, so
yeah,
it's understandable. For some custom tabletop rules, they're really lightning fast hunters, and they run in packs. But if you want one of your Kroot characters to have a Kroot Hound familiar, you can add one to their base, or on a separate square base as a token. And any character accompanied by them can make 2 additional attacks in the fight phase at weapon skill 3, strength 3, AP -1, damage 1. Also, You can reroll any of the dice when charging if any of the charged units suffered any unsaved wounds that turn. So that represents the crew hound smelling blood and going in for the kill and kind of leading your character into the fight.
Oh, that's cool. That could be really cool.
Yeah, crew hounds are good. They're good boys and good girls.
Do you know if they're in the new kill team rules for the Crute? I can't remember.
That's a really good question. So we had some rules a while back that we made for them. But Games Workshop created rules now, which are in one of the new White Dwarfs. So just do White Dwarf kill team Crute rules, and you'll find the correct issue. Games Workshop has said that they are going to, if you really don't want, to buy White Dwarf, you can always wait for the chapter approved. But just buy White Dwarf. It's fine. It's $10. Just buy it.
I've got it. I don't have it in this room, and I don't want to run into the other room to check on it. So.
People complain that they have to buy a thing, and then they have to buy a thing again, and it's like, you know what? This hobby's cheap. Trust me. Try doing anything else.
Compared to motorcycles, compared to sports cars, this hobby is
compared to many
super
things.
Cheap.
Like we went out today, and we were at the trailhead, which actually has a little shop at it right now.
Yeah,
some of the trailheads do, especially because this one is it's over by Lake Placid, which is where they had the 1980 Olympics. And a lot of people go there, and this trailhead goes to 4 mountains. One of them is the second highest peak in the Adirondacks. So. And one pair of snowshoes is like $200 for a good pair.
Okay.
And it's not like it has boots on it, so you have to buy boots too. You have to buy winter boots that are not going to soak through and make you lose toes. So you're gonna have to buy expensive boots.
Yeah.
It never ends. Every hobby's like that.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about servo skulls?
Oh yeah, man. What's funny is at the end of this, I'll talk to you about a servo skull that I turned into a good buddy or a good boy. So here we go. Lore. The faithful servo skull is one of the exemplary pieces of window dressing for the Warhammer 40,000 universe. They are exactly what they appear to be: the decapitated remains of an imperial citizen pressed into eternal servitude as a flying skull. We should do an ad based on that, like on our Zoda
Yes,
books,
I like it.
Yeah, you guys will hear it later. Don't worry. All right. So, anyways, it's unclear whether the servo skull does still possess a meat brain of some kind, and thus does not technically count as artificial intelligence, or if it is enough that the container itself is biological. For the most part,
it's a very gray area here. I don't even know.
Yeah. It is, and even in the books, it doesn't really tell you what it is. Just that everyone kind of sees them as being kind of skeezy, or not skeezy.
I'm pretty sure there must be some part of the meat brain still in there, because remember that one campaign, the Kauyon, where the Tau dissect the Seeker missile, and there's part of a human brain in it.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure the servo skull still has at least some brain in there being kept alive with some arcane means.
Eek. Gross. Okay. Anyway, well, glad I'm not going to eat later. For the most part, it is agreed that any Imperial machine spirit is usually at least partially biological in nature. Servo skulls are so prevalent in Warhammer that it would be possible to dedicate an entire segment to them in the future. Which we'll talk about. Yeah. Like you find them in almost every Space Marine kit, but we'll keep talking. Mm-hmm. These plucky companions serve a multitude of roles for their more sentient masters at all levels and in all branches of the Imperium. Most servo skulls are of the monotask variety, programmed to fill a very specific role and equipped with the tools required to execute the tasks associated with that role. Their small size and sophisticated anti-gravity capabilities make them well suited for many different technical tasks. Some servo skulls are programmed as familiars or companions for individuals whose own skills and time would be wasted performing menial tasks or learning tangential skills. For example, the Lingua Vox servitor translates languages for their master. Other servo skulls are used to enhance a warrior's abilities in combat either directly or with a cogitator uplink. They can be fitted with all manner of sensors and transmitters to aid them in this role. Some servo skulls are combatants in their own right and fitted with a variety of small arms, and then slave to either a dominant cogitator unit or another character. Servo skulls have been known to be reprogrammed by less reputable members of the Imperial Society to hunt down and kill the Cyber Mastiffs and Grapplehawks, the Adeptus Arbites. I choose you. So, well, that's actually really funny because one of the, in the Blackstone Fortress box, the Cardinal, I think is a Cardinal.
The Cardinal has a servo skull with a gun.
Yeah, and that's really cool. In fact, when I was putting that on there, I thought, well, I've got some other guns, and I've got some servo skulls, and I've got the green stuff tentacle maker. Maybe I can do something with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, for the hobby, many Warhammer 40k kits, the Imperial ones, come equipped with servo skulls, including Dev Squad, various Tech Priests, Grave Knight Paladins. I have a ton of them. I do, from getting bits and whatnot. But, you can also make your own servo skulls fairly easily out of spare bits. I mean, there are lots of skulls in 40k, if you haven't noticed, listeners.
You could even have fun, like, making orc servo skulls if you wanted, like, because there's orc skulls and... and Tyrannid skulls. There are some servo skulls that they make out of... Some of the attack servo skulls are made out of animal skulls.
Oh,
which is really interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. A cool thing. The servo skulls are really neat. There was one story about a servo skull made out of a a Astartes from the Death Watch.
Oh, really?
And since their skull is so much bigger, there's a lot more room for extra parts. So like extra sensors.
Oh,
there's some stories that are out there of people have a servo skull familiar that is a little more like there's one that was a tech priest in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, it was from one of the video games. It was a tech priest, and it was really excited to be just fully mechanical finally, to be cast off its body. And it had a lot more personality than most servo skulls. I guess in this game, the servo skull itself was the camera in the game.
Oh, okay.
So it was you looking through the servo skull, and it was talking to you the entire time because it's showing you what's happening in the game.
That's
which is a
cool.
Great way to do it, right?
Yeah. So what I did was, so I've had this kind of really weird inquisitorial war band that I've been building up over the last couple of years. And last year I got the tentacle maker from Green Stuff Industries. And so I just built a whole bunch of tentacles, and I, bent them into different shapes and whatnot. And I just took about 6 of them and super glued them together so that they actually formed like a base. And at the very top, I put a servo skull, so it actually looks like something out of the Matrix movies. Where they had like the octopus type attack, robots. Yeah. Well, this servo skull has all of those tentacles behind it, and it's being pushed forward, so it looks like it definitely looks like an attack servo skull. So that was a fun one. I need to base it though, but it's I painted up kind of a black with silver for the tentacles to make it look very metallic, and then painted the skull white and that sort of stuff to get kind of that contrast between that bone and the silver black. So, I haven't even used that in a game, though. In fact, it hasn't gone to a game yet. Anyways, but if you are interested in doing this, here are your custom tabletop rules. For the most part, silver skulls are used in 40k as a way of providing some kind of bonus to shooting, or to serve some other kind of sensory purpose. If you'd like to give your character one or more servo skull familiars, you may fit in with a pistol whip. Let me go back. If you'd like to give your character one or more servo skull familiars, you may fit it in with a pistol weapon normally available on your army's armory list. If you do, the servo skull uses your ballistic skill, but otherwise shoots independently of your character's own shooting attacks. If you choose not to equip your Servo Skull POW with a weapon, you can use it to provide one of the several enhancements to your character's own abilities. So maybe +1 to shooting phase, +1 to invulse saves, +1 to deny the witch rolls, +3 inches to the range of their ranged attacks, which I like that one, +3 to the range of their heroic interventions and rerolls of any dice when they are charged, a +6 ignore damage, a +1 leadership to all friendly units within 6 inches, or increase the range at which enemy units may be set up near the character to 12 inches instead of whatever distance is allowed by special rules on their data sheet. War gear, relic, psychic power, or stratagem. Anyway, in any case, the Servo Skull also provides one additional attack in the combat phase at Strength 3 AP dash. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. You can use any of those. This is narrative, of course, but you can use any of those things, maybe even 3 of them, depending on what you need.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're suggesting maybe a +1 to your power level if you use any of these special, pals, because it's only fair that you do that.
Yeah.
So, just increase the power level a little bit. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So we're going into a new rating. 11 out of 10. All of these good boys and girls, or gender non-conforming creatures, have scored an 11 out of 10. They need treats.
Yeah.
Okay. They deserve lots of treats. So Genestealer familiars. We just did an episode about Genestealer cults. We touched lightly on the Genestealer familiar. They are really interesting. They are physical beings, but they were coalesced from the raw psychic presence of a powerful Genestealer. In this way, they very much resemble the way a familiar might be created in D&D. Mm-hmm. But these are done almost kind of on accident. The most recent codex seems to indicate that the Primus and the Magus are the ones whose psyches are strong enough to manifest these little diminutive assistants. Though the Genestealer familiar can then be attached to the service of one of the Primus or Magus's other agents. I guess we'll do some examples here. The familiar of a Primus or a Magus is capable of manifesting an extra psychic power and fighting for their master. The Alchemicus familiars are adorable. They're attached to a Biophagus and assist them in their their genetic augmentations. Yeah. He is so cute. Look at him. Look at the little bottle and the gross stuff coming out of the bottle, and he's got the glasses. Even though these guys don't have eyes, technically, he still has glasses, so that's cool. And the Mindworm familiars are attached to Abominants, and they protect the big monsters from psychic assault. The Soul Sight familiars are seconded to the Sancti? I don't know. And they assist them in zeroing in on their targets, so they get extra help with shooting from those guys. So there's a bunch of them. They are really well represented both in the kits and on the tabletop already. The army really doesn't need any help with pals because it's super duper already exists and is totally fine.
That's pretty cool.
I would say in your narrative games, let other characters take some of the ones that are only available to others, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that
use your imagination.
Yeah, because you're not always going to run with a Magus or a Primus. If you have some
it would be
HQ.
really cute if you took one of the Genestealer familiars and put it on a little motorcycle and had it run with the Jackal Alphas.
That would be awesome.
Or riding in a sidecar. How cute would that be?
Yeah, or like on some of the orc bikes for the boss where there's the grot hanging off the antenna. Yeah, that works. Although I do like the little bike idea, but whatever.
They're all
those
great
are some
ideas.
cool ideas.
I'm curious. I love these guys.
I haven't really looked at the Gene Stealer models just because
You don't want to because you will collect a Gene Stealer cult army.
Yeah, you read my mind. Good. Okay, we're on that wavelength.
Yeah.
That's good to know. All right. That's exactly why.
Flesh
it's like, no,
hounds.
I think I've got enough armies that aren't totally painted yet. Let me get through those.
And you already have some acolytes sitting in a box, by the way, remember?
Yeah, they're in the Kill Team box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at those the other night whenever I pulled out the terrain for
Kill
there to
Team
see
rules.
what I had to build
Yeah,
there.
no.
So.
No, it's not great.
All right. So still on the 11 out of 10 needs treats. We have the Flesh
these
Hounds.
guys need some treats. Yes, Flesh Hounds.
I love this next sentence. Flesh Hounds are the goodest boys in all the 9 hells. Who's the goodest boy? All right. So they're forged in the Blood God's coalesced rage and designed to seek out and destroy his most detested foes. Yeah. They're bigger than a space marine and as fast as a thoroughbred. Since they are Khorne's hunters and Khorne does not appreciate the meddling of psychers, each flesh hound is adorned with a collar of Khorne, which protects them from beings from such threats. Which protects these beings from such threats from psychers. Their canine-like form is wreathed in a tough, scaly hide and bristling with horns. Since the flesh hound is a manifestation of rage, truly a demon in all respect, it can appear anywhere. They've even been known to manifest inside space vessels in search of an enemy to the Blood Throne. The howl of the flesh hound echoes across the materium. Those unlucky enough to experience the sound never forget it as long as their short lives allow. Even navigators and other psychers report having heard their baying across the stars. And this, there's a couple of Horse Heresy books where it's kind of implied that these guys show up, when Gellerfields start to... Like, they don't call them flesh hounds, but there's, demons or something scary that's kind of like that.
Right.
Karnak is a named character among the flesh hounds. The role of this huge, 3-head monstrosity is to guard the blood god's throne of brass when he isn't personally hunting down his master's most hated foes. Each head serves to track his enemy and keep their scent. One tracks their scent through real space, the second through time, and the third detects their thoughts. So,
That is
Cerebus.
so cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that reminds me very much of that's a very much a mythical callback there.
That would be a cool model to have. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hobby. Games Workshop has produced many different Fleshhound models over the years. The new kits are gorgeous. I have not looked at them, although I'm looking at the pictures you provided, and they do look pretty cool.
They are super awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very awesome, especially compared to the first one, which is the worst.
Yeah, listeners, Adam has provided pictures for me to look at, and that first one looks pretty horrible.
It looks like an ancient D&D miniature.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Imagine the
80s.
Yeah. It definitely looks like something you'd find at a D&D shop in the 80s for sure.
Yeah, just it's not it's not dynamic. Yeah, well, maybe the tail, but the tail is even
But the new ones are just gorgeous.
Yeah, the new ones look beautiful.
They're so good.
They look pretty awesome. So custom tabletop rules. If your Chaos character would like to keep a flesh hound as their pet, that's their business. Yeah, that's... I don't know, man. My leg would be a little terrified. Give them 2 additional... give them 2 additional strength 4 attacks in close combat at AP 1. The character also adds +1 to wound with all their attacks, including the bonus ones for the flesh hound. When in a turn they charge or perform a heroic intervention.
I think that's a fair kind of a way of determining what a fleshhound would do if he were by your side.
Yeah. Hopefully
and it would just look cool. I mean, we've seen there is a character in Age of Sigmar who has a fleshhound buddy. And
is there?
It is really cool. Yeah, it's one of the Warhammer Underworlds models.
Yeah.
For that game. So cool. All right, so for our last good good boy / girl of the galaxy with 11 out of 10 score is the Razorwing. I knew nothing about the Razorwing until
I've seen the models on the website.
Right. So they're an avian species which has proliferated throughout the Cronus Expanse and beyond. They're seemingly impossible, and the Imperium is not sure about how they came about. Mm-hmm. Whatever true lineage they can boast, Razorwings in their current manifestation are genetically altered by the Drukhari through flesh augmentation and selective breeding. So they're the size of Terran eagles and can dive as fast or faster than some manufactured aircraft. Their wings and tail feathers are all sharper than razors. Imperial biologists assume this is because of their voracious diet of bones, in addition to the flesh. But who knows what machinations of genetic abnormality were perpetrated by the Drukhari over the years. Razorwings are heckin' good friends because if they are well trained, they'll fly around their prey so that the Drukhari handler can have a good look at their work and ensure that there was no case of mistaken identity before they're allowed to finally devour the kill in a voracious feeding frenzy. That's great. The Razorwing Flock is an expensive GW resin kit, which includes one base of Razorwings. You may wish to supplement them with some Age of Sigmar Aether Wings.
Okay.
But those come with
Stormcast Eternals, right?
Yeah. So it's not easy to find a replacement.
No, there might be something from. I think Reaper does like a metal. I mean, they're cast metal crows,
like a raven flock, crow flock. Yeah. I'm sure you can find something.
Yeah.
So if you want to perch a Razorwing over your character's shoulder, you may once per turn during the shooting phase order your Razorwing to dive at a foe. Roll a dice on a 4+. One enemy unit within 12 inches takes 1 mortal wound. Very simple.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That could be pretty interesting. That's...
Yeah. These guys are cute.
Yeah.
I like them. Certainly 11 out of 10. So I think we should take a quick break before we move on to our friends that have a 12 out of 10 rating.
Yeah.
Mainly because I have to help Wendy get our good girl upstairs to bed.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a pressure-free hobby Facebook group? Hobby Streak. Are you looking for a community where you can keep your hobby progress on track? Hobby Streak. Do you want a Facebook group that focuses on all aspects of the hobby? Hobby Streak. Hobby Streak is a Facebook group for building, painting, list building, playing games, and everything in between. Hobby Streak. Post daily updates showing or telling about your progress for friendly and helpful support from a great community. Try Hobby Streak today.
Hello, everyone. The Masters of the Forge is now a proud member of the NPC, the Narrative Podcast Consortium. Our aim is to inspire your hobby through the rich lore of the 41st millennium. If you enjoy our podcast, then make sure to check out these other awesome shows, where you can get coverage on campaigns, Black Library, and all kinds of general topics of the 40K background.
The NGC 40K podcast also provides in-depth campaign coverage, audio dramas, and free-flowing narrative campaign creation.
The Adeptus Terra podcast also features in-depth discussions of the lore and commentary on the hobby.
Oh, and sexy English voices.
Oh, yeah.
The Masters of the Forge brings the world of 40K to life on your tabletop, with discussion on the lore, backed up by narrative-themed rules and battle reports.
Of course, this is only a fraction of the topics covered by the podcasts of the NPC. Please tune in to find out more.
Welcome back to our episode on the Goodest boys and girls of the galaxy. Next, we have those good friends with a 12 out of 10 rating who deserve a scritch behind the ears.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about the Chimera?
You just gave that to me.
I think it's Chimera.
Listen to me butcher that,
Chimera.
didn't you? Yeah.
I mean, what?
What? Yeah, all right. Here we go. The Chimera. We're going to go with that pronunciation. We're just going to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're special friends because they are non-demonic warp beasts. These creatures are said to have been born from the horrified imaginings and nightmares of mortals. They manifest as quadrupedal, skinless predators with bony and tentacled protrusions. Chimerae exist intermittently between the materium and the immaterium, allowing them to phase randomly during combat. Like flesh hounds, Chimerae have no limit on the range at which they can hunt, either terrestrial or intergalactic. Ooh, those could be some fun wandering monster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Thinking about other things. Focus.
Yeah.
All right.
These are a great thing to use in narrative games because they don't actually have to be tied to a Dark Eldar.
Right, they can just show
storyline.
up and wreck face.
Yeah. In fact, when we talk about the rules later, like, I don't see a reason why they can't be attached to any character depending on the story.
Yeah, and actually, this could be interesting for anyone who's doing Thousand Suns from the Horus Heresy era. You know, they could use them as manifestations of their, you know, their daemons or whatever. Sorry. We'll get back to the lore. Sorry about that. All right. It is a wonder that the Drukhari Beastmasters can tame such creatures, but they have a tradition that dates back thousands of years. The Beastmasters use special technology built into their ceremonial masks, which emit sonic pulses and pheromones which the animals they befriend react positively to. So, in the hobby...
Isn't that interesting?
They're another beautiful, very, very beautiful sculpt. And they're kind of an expensive resin kit. But there are a variety of alternative kits available. Basically, if you can get some sort of muscular dog
displacer beast
thing
without skin, I'm sure that's easy to find.
Yeah. Maybe add, you know... I mean, as I'm looking at the official models, you know, I can see that you can take maybe some extra Tyranid bits, maybe. I don't know. There's
I can see
I'm
that.
sure there's probably some really interesting kit bashes that could be done out of that.
Truly.
So for the rules, a character with the Chimera companion can unleash their vicious companion during the battle. Grant the character 3 additional attacks at weapon skill 3, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. So yeah, you know, maybe a pack of those. If for those of you who are doing, you know, kind of like a D&D type dungeon crawl, like if you're doing that with 40k, like using maybe the Death Watch rules from mini wargaming or something like that. These guys would be pretty good as like little wandering monsters. You know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I really like these, and I would say like an Inquisitor under some situations might have a Chimera as a companion, you know. Just, you know, use your imagination. There are also with a 12 out of 10 rating are direwolves and giant rats, which are available from the line of Age of Sigmar. Yeah. I think direwolves also might make a really good alternative model to use for Chimera, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the undead section. And giant rats are really cool too. They're from the Skaven, and they used to be part of the like rat hordes, rat swarms and stuff. And they were also in like some old Warhammer Quest boxes. Used to get rats, bats, and minotaurs, and maybe a few other things in a box of wandering like dungeon monsters. Yeah. And those are really cool, and you can use those as little companions. Look at some of the rules we've come up with here and come up with your own ways of manifesting them on the tabletop, because they're really cute and fun.
So I'm looking at the Direwolves kit right now, and man, it's really close to the
Chimera.
How do I pronounce that? Chimera.
Yeah.
You could actually squint and say, yeah, it's pretty close. And what, there's 10? Yeah, there's 10 in a box for 25 US. That's not bad. Huh.
No, and just add some Tyranid bits to it, you're good to go.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend the Direwolf sculpts. Those would be pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
next
I'm gonna let you
we
take
have...
Nerdlings.
Huh?
I'm gonna let you take Nerdlings because I think you'd like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Well, yeah.
13 out of 10 tummy rubs. Okay. Like the Great Unclean Ones, the lowly Nurgling is a smaller manifestation of Grandfather Nurgle himself. They are mischievous, irritating, diseased little snots who are the concept of gross made manifest. I'm pretty sure this makes me think about what's going to happen to me in April. Anyways, although others of Nurgle's number fill more important roles in his great design, the Nurglings are among the most beloved. The Great Unclean Ones are entertained endlessly by their joyous antics. In turn, the Nurglings serve their masters without grumble or complaint. That's not to say that they can be trusted with complex tasks, of course. Their frivolous and mischievous nature makes them somewhat unreliable for such things. However, en masse, a horde of Nurglings are capable of great destruction.
Yeah.
There's like the Great Unclean Ones really love Nurglings. There's one story where they talk about like how there's a game that the Great Unclean One plays where he tries to guess which orifice or which wound a Nurgling will exit from if he swallows it. So he'll swallow the Nurgling whole and see which hole it comes out of. Nurglings tend to flock more to masters who appreciate them and let them enjoy themselves. As such, there are some warbands, Demon and Death Guard alike, who seem especially blessed with an abundance of Nurglings, and even march to war on a veritable carpet of the creatures. And their lords are actually borne on palanquins carried by like this delighted mountain of the snotty little monsters.
Yeah.
There used to be models for that. I actually don't think did they ever even bother with a model of that because people just made their own anyways.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Nurglings are among the goodest boys of the galaxy because they delight in what they do for the pure joy of it. They do not need to be bribed or forced to spread the gifts of Grandfather. Just try to stop them.
Yeah.
As for the hobby, there are so many. The actual Nurgling kit is just this delightful little 3 bases of these delightful little jerks. Each base is just filled with Nurglings capering and pulling faces and making rude gestures. There are a lot of other Nurglings available, like that come with the Nurgle demons and Death Guard kits.
Yeah. Including
the infamous sassy Nurgling who comes with a free Plague Marine champion. He's so great.
Yeah.
You also check out Kill Team Rogue Trader. They have glitchlings.
Yeah.
Which are they kind of play the role of gremlins, kind of, where they cause machines to decay.
Yeah.
And they're also adorable. Some of the old models are equally cute.
Yeah.
And they're fine, but the new ones are so expressive. Like I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to buy the newer ones because they're so adorable.
Yeah, and I mean, you know the sculptors are having a great time putting these together.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Nurgle and the Nurgle faction and orcs are kind of similar. Same thing with the Gloomspite Gits. Like,
yeah.
They're definitely comic relief, but if you think about how other normal people react to the horrible things that they're doing, it's actually not that funny. it's not great. Like, the stuff that's happening is kind of the worst, but they're enjoying it anyways, which should actually make it even worse, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, you know? Like, it's definitely a horror movie. So, for Nurglings, a lot of characters in the Chaos faction have Nurglings with special rules. But I think it's a simple way of doing like the Nurgling thing is to add any number on your character's base that you want.
Right.
And when you fight, you may elect to attack with Nurglings in place of one of your normal attacks. So for every 3 Nurglings you have on your base, every 3 counts as 1 familiar for challenge or for like power level. So like I would do 1 power level for every 3 Nurglings. So these attacks are resolved at strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then for every 6 to wound you roll, add another Nurgling to your character's base. So long as you have enough models and they don't fall off. If a Nurgling falls off the character's base, that means they were considered crushed underfoot.
Got it. Yeah. That's funny.
So imagine like you're like, okay, I can balance like 9 Nurglings on here. So if you have 9 Nurglings, you can give up 1 attack to do 9 Nurgling attacks instead. So long as you have enough on there.
So you could have 9 strength 3, AP 0 attacks.
And then for every 6 to wound you roll, you add another Nurgling because they were born from the gross that they're inflicting upon your enemy.
Oh, that could be terrifying. Make sure you have a large base on those guys, definitely.
Like, imagine your enemy sicking up a Nurgling, like just vomiting and a Nurgling coming out of its mouth. How horrible would that be?
Oh, that could be a lot of fun.
Also, 13 out of 10 tummy rubs are squigs, but we have discussed squigs ad nauseum.
Yeah, we've
I think we don't really need to go too deep into it. We love squigs. Squigs are great. There are so many squigs now. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. The squig buggy is the best model ever. Fight me. I will fight you over that. It is amazing.
It's funny how often we talk about orcs on this podcast.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Anyways, the next rating is 14 out of 10. Heckin' Heroes.
Yeah.
Jason, would you like to cover the Fenrisian Wolves?
Well, as a Thousand Suns player, I
keep on giving you the best ones.
I really don't want to, but I guess I will. Okay. All right. So, Fenrisian Wolves or Cyber Wolves. The lore for these guys. Fenrisian Wolves are considered the most deadly living threat upon the world of Fenris. These beasts are more than just one species, but represent a family of wolf species, ranging from the common Fenrisian wolf to the massive thunder wolf. In most respects, the appearance and behavior of the Fenrisian wolf is almost identical to those of Old Terra, except that the Fenrisian wolf is terrifyingly intelligent, which is what makes it so very dangerous. When an Astartes undertakes a ritual called the Lone Hunt, they set out into the wilds of Fenris to find and kill a Fenrisian wolf with nothing but their bare hands. It is very easy for the hunter to become the hunted. If they manage to kill the pack's alpha in this way, then the entire pack will defer to the Astartes as the new alpha and follow them back to the Fang, and forever will their fates be aligned. Fenrisian wolves.
How cool is that? That's a great story.
Yes.
I love that story. How if the Space Marine manages to kill the Alpha, the whole pack recognizes him as the new Alpha. That's awesome.
So I love that. That could be a real story or a jumping off point for a character, especially if you have. I apologize. I don't know the Space Wolves lore as well, but they do have. I think it's in the elite slot, like Lone Wolves, the guys that are basically the last of their pack. Maybe your wolf or your Space Marine has a pack of Fenrisian wolves, that follow him. That is his pack, and so he runs different rules there. That could be some really interesting
I would love that. That sounds awesome.
And I think that'd make that character really interesting very quickly, or at least I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Fenrisian wolves are very good boys and girls. They will protect their tall, metal-armored friends from the most dangerous enemies. If their friend falls in battle, the wolf will pull them to safety. As such, when a Fenrisian wolf is critically injured in battle, the Space Wolves will do all they can to save the wolf, even replace any destroyed limbs and or organs with cybernetic parts. That's cool. Even if it's Space Wolves. So, remember, there are no wolves on Fenris. No. So, for the hobby, there is a great plastic kit for the Fenrisian wolf and a resin kit for the Cyber Wolf, which we've got pictures of it in the notes. I don't think I've ever seen a Cyber Wolf, like the real kit.
I think it's like $4 trillion for one Cyber Wolf.
That would probably explain why I've never seen it. All right. So, custom tabletop rules. A great deal of rules pertain to the Fenrisian and Cyber Wolves already. No rules really need to be created in order to reflect them on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do... I would look at the Chimera, I guess, would be a good one. Just use those same things. But I think it's much cooler to have a pack of these guys.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of the characters can already take a Fenrisian Wolf companion, actually, I think.
Okay.
If you look at it, I think they can already. So it's really not necessary at all. So.
Okay. Yeah, they're just good boys. Good boys and girls.
Yeah, they're just good boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also 14 out of 10 are the Grapple Hawks. They are cybernetic companions used by the Adeptus Arbites. Their powerful talons and incredible speed make them perfect for apprehending criminals before they even know they've been stalked from above. A Grapple Hawk's handler will keep the bird either perched upon their person or deactivated at their hip. So I guess they shoot them like a gun. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Grapple Hawks might make for an interesting weapon in an Arbite's kill team, either doing mortal wounds or, more interestingly, arresting the movement of a target enemy. So like you shoot them out there and it stops them. It tries to claws at them and claws at their armor and stops them from moving. That would be a really cool ability. I'm not sure if they'd be any help. I see Arbites more as a kill team thing than a full army type thing,
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of what they were originally intended for. I mean, that was back before I was playing, so there may be some of the lore that I don't particularly understand. That's the more as like kill team or Necromunda, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they were in Necromunda for a time.
Oh, well, there we go.
And I think Grapple Hawks were a war gear choice in Necromunda as well, I think. See,
we need a Don right now. A Don would tell us.
Yeah, a Don, yes, he would know. And I think the Arbites should come back to Necromunda. I think that would be a really cool faction. I'm sure they're thinking about it.
Well, we also have bounty hunters that they have for Necromunda are pretty cool, and I've actually thought about getting the Gore Halfhorn, just because he's awesome.
He is awesome.
Yeah,
so cool. We also have Drill Bills and Ether Wings, which are Age of Sigmar models. Drill Bills come with the Grunstock gun haul. No, the Grunstock. I don't know, the heavy weapon guys.
Yeah.
And they kind of fly out and peck your eyes out. They're great. And then they're a separate piece for the model. So if you ever want to have like a mechanical parrot on your character's shoulder, like if you're playing orcs or something, if you're playing like a freebooter type character, grab a drill bill from one of those kits because you can perch them on your shoulder. Ether Wings, again, they're like these creatures from Aesir who accompany the Stormcast Eternals into battle. And they're really cool too. You can use those for a lot of different things in 40K as well.
Cool.
Then we have 15 out of 10.
Yeah.
These have scored 15 out of 10. They are the most goodest of all the good friends of the galaxy. So you want to take it away with the Grinks?
Yeah, the Grinks. I saw this one, wanted to make sure and grab it. I do have 2 cats. So The Grinks. These are meter-long, cat-like Xenos animals, and they have an incredible aptitude for empathy and form lifelong partnerships with their owners. The Grinks have been around since 40k Rogue Trader, and in that game, the Grinks actually took on the personality stats and traits of their sentient companions, representing the empathic bond between them. In the lore, they not only take on the temperament of their companions, but they might even start to resemble them physically. A Grinks who loses their companion needs to take on a new one. They will try to win over one of their former companion's close relatives or friends first, but even then the bond takes time to solidify. When bonded, the benefits to the master are quite sought after. Even humans such as Inquisitors and Rogue Traders covet the mental clarity that comes with the partnership with the Grinks. So, in the hobby, the Grinks, Alornis, is currently available as an accessory to the Ynnari model Yvraine. That's actually really a cool model. I do have this model unassembled, and I have actually thought about taking that Grinks and putting it on like maybe a 25mm or a 32mm base to move around.
Because I feel like your Inquisition group should have a Grinks at its disposal. So even if you do play the cat lady in one of your if you do play your brain in an army, just have it as a on a small base next to her so that you can use the Grinks with your Inquisition warband as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things my Inquisitorial warband is kind of crazy. I've got like a Jacaro, and I've got this, servo skull with tentacles, and a kind of a rogue librarian that's kind of annoying, and a Blood Raven kill team assassins that hang out with it. So it's my kill team's kind of eclectic, or not a kill team, my warband. So anyways, custom tabletop rules. A character with the Grinks companion adds +1 to their psychic tests and deny the witch rolls. Which, I could definitely use that with my Inquisitor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Again, if you want to add them as, an actual attacking character, that's fine. I don't know if I would do that with the Grinks, though. They are pretty big. They're about a meter long, so they're not small cats. They're big cats.
They're a big cat. They're a Maine Coon cat or larger. Actually, they're larger than a Maine Coon.
Yeah, they're really big.
Yeah.
Griffhounds. Griffhounds are also from Age of Sigmar. They are also agents of the Stormcast Eternals, and they are cool. They're griffins, basically, little griffins. And there is a Griffhound in the Roll models, ROLL models.
Oh,
comic.
Yeah.
He's cute. He's actually, I think he's currently my avatar on Facebook. So maybe he was a couple days ago. I go through avatars like somebody goes through changing underpants. So, the last and most important, bestest friends of the galaxy are Canids and Cybermastiffs.
Yeah.
Recently, a strain of ancient Terran warbeast has been redeveloped in it only took us a short 5 centuries to do so. According to the regimental standard.
Yeah.
This was adorable. It came out about the same time as the Aximilian model, and everybody was super excited to have a plastic dog that they could have for their army. It's really, really cute.
Yeah.
The managing your Canid regimental standard article is so cute. It gives you tips on how to manage your Canid. Okay.
Yeah.
One is to provide positive reinforcement. Canids, unlike guardsmen, do not respond well to threats of violence. Unlike guardsmen, insults to their honor or accusations of heresy. Experiments have shown that these beasts are instead best dealt with firm encouragement. So, gives you example phrases. Who is an effective combat beast? Is it you? The question is rhetorical. It is you. Adequate performance, soldier. And the best one is, prostrate yourself before the Emperor, and I shall rub your abdomen in reward for your humility. Rule number 2 is to remember your place. In order to prevent undue feelings of superiority among privates, all Canids are officer rank.
That's...
This means that striking your Canid, presuming to give it commands, or theoretically disobeying its orders are all offenses punishable by death. And it gives a little chain of command with the little stapled Canids in between junior officers and sergeants and NCOs. With the guardsmen below that. Though there is a 3-star asterisk. If issued clear verbal orders by your Canid, self-report for psychological evaluation following completion of said orders. Oh, it's such a cute article. It is great. You also have Cyber Mastiffs. These are not dogs. They are almost entirely robotic.
Yeah.
And I also believe these were made available in Necromunda.
Yeah.
In the past. So they might have this like vat grown or printed biological central nervous systems.
Right.
But other than that, they're robots and their jaws can crush bone and it's gross. There are a number of designs for a Cyber Mastiff that fit mission parameters like crowd suppression, bloodhounding, or just pure judicial resolution of a criminal's life.
Yeah.
So, for models, we have Aximilian, of course, who's available in the Rogue Trader box.
Yeah.
Again, I would I don't know. I would expect more in the future. Wouldn't it be wonderful if when they redid the Guardsman box, if it came with a Canid?
That would be pretty nice, actually.
Wouldn't that be nice with like the new female heads and new like just all kinds of different body types and just, you know what? Just throw us a bone and give us a Canid. Oh, God darn it. That was a pun.
Was that a pun?
It was. I'm going to be a dad soon, apparently. Also, there is the Farmer Maggot kit, which is fine cast, but it comes with 3 dogs.
Okay. I have never seen that kit before at all.
No. I immediately sent an email to Ralph to have him order it for me, and it was in stock when I asked him, and then when he went to order it, it was out of stock, which is sad.
Wow.
But yeah, I think there's 1 German Shepherd and 2... I mean, they're just dogs. You can paint them however you want.
Well, what?
There are also models that have just been on Kickstarter, which are basically just dogs with adventuring outfits on them, and these aren't like anthropomorphic furry type miniatures. They're literally just dogs wearing outfits. So
That's
like the
too
golden
bad.
retriever has a wizard hat and a cloak. It's adorable. I bought them immediately.
Yeah.
I funded the crap out of that Kickstarter.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So you can find the rules for Aximilian in Kill Team Rogue Trader, and you can just use his stats for whatever model you want, in your games.
Yeah, that's probably a really good idea.
Maybe just count him as a character and just let him run around fighting people. It's adorable. The only real axe I have to grind with these people, though, his special rule is the death of Aximilian is ignored for the purposes of morale tests. That is not in any way in keeping with the reality of the death of a beloved pet. So
you could if you want.
It's literally the opposite.
If you want to do some homebrew rules on it, you could roll on a 4-up. No one takes morale because everyone's enraged, and
that's true.
Yeah, whatever the new furious charge rules are, and go through and just like create an idea of rules that are show the extreme anger and grief of the surviving characters.
That's a fact. That is a great idea.
Yeah.
That is a great idea.
No morale checks. Everyone's got to feel no pain. Furious charge. Everyone's got +1 strength. I mean, the sky's the limit on there. On a 4-up.
Yeah, way to make some serious mistakes.
Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of fun. I really liked doing that lore section. That was really fun. I'm glad we did that. So as we promised last episode, we will be doing some coverage of Vigilus Defiant in this episode. We're going to just do the first 3 of the Crucible of War missions and talk about those and using them in your games. But first, we're going to take a quick break. I need to go get the book. So we'll be right back. Hey, Masters of the Forge listeners, are you looking to expand your Warhammer 40,000 gaming group?
Do you want to start a 40k club in your area?
Do you want the people you attract to be like-minded mofos?
Do you want to advertise your YouTube channel?
Or even attract more subscribers to your hobby blog or online community?
Then what better way than to advertise on the Masters of the Forge podcast?
All we ask of you is that you email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com or message us on Facebook with a full text of your advertisement, including the region in which you live and any contact information people can use to get a hold of you.
We will have one of our many tech servitors read your advertisement on the air. We promise not to make fun of you.
Though we can't always predict the actions of our servitors, you really can't find good help these days.
No, you can't.
Hey, mofos. Are you looking for more Warhammer 40k video content? Well, the Scarred Cast posts regular battle reports as well as tactics and strategy videos. Be sure to check out all the cool hobby content for the avid tabletop wargamer. That's Scarred Cast, Skared on YouTube.
Hey Archons, tired of the boring predictability and efficiency of stuff that always works? You need the Slith Party Bus! Got an extra 473 points that you can't find a solid use for? You need the Slith Party Bus! You could spend 420 points on 3 reliable Lance Ravagers pumping out 9 Darkland shots per turn. That'll only give up 3 victory points, or you can drop 473 points on 2 Archons, 8 Slith, and a Raider for 11 victory points. You need the Slith Party Bus! The classic Slith Party Bus. Still awesome. Party Bus! Still hilarious. Party Bus! It's the Slith Party Bus! If you love the Slith Party Bus, you'll want to check out our other exciting products. We have the Rack Wiffle Ball Bat, the Trueborn, and the Blood Bride. Trueborn and Blood Bride models no longer available. The classic Slith Party Bus, still awesome, still hilarious. It's the Slith Party Bus!
And we're back. So, if everybody wants to follow along, we will open to page 130 of our hymnals. I'll start us off. Yes. First let's talk about these. The Crucible of War missions are narrative missions that are not specific to actual events in the campaign, but they can be tailored for the generic theme of that campaign. So each one features the usual parameters of a mission, including narrative stratagems. Also, each one determines the attacker and defender based on which side has more power level than the other. Okay?
Yeah.
So the first one is Convoy, which we've all kind of played a game like this in the past. In times of war, vital support lines become hotly contested battlefronts. The attackers seek to disrupt and destroy the enemy convoys in order to bleed their foe of resources, whilst the defenders must make sure their cargo arrives safely to further fuel the war effort. So, this should be a common like trope that we would want to use in our narrative games. The convoy is there's a convoy in this. The player with the highest power rating should be the defender, and they have a convoy.
Yeah.
They nominate a bunch of vehicles as their convoy, and the vehicles shouldn't be more than 15 power level each. And they can't have the flyer battlefield roll because that would not be fair.
Right.
And the sum total of them should be less than a third the power level of the entire army. So you can't have the whole army be the convoy.
Right.
And they were smart here. They set it up so that the convoy can't attempt to charge.
Right, because it's a convoy.
So
it shouldn't be
you can't.
ready to fight.
They're trying to escape, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So
there's a dual role to that rule, right? The first role is narratively they shouldn't be trying to attack anybody. They're trying to escape.
Right.
Second of all, rules-wise, it would be kind of crappy for the player to get additional movement out of charging.
Yeah. And this is supposed to be an ambush situation anyway, so
Yeah, exactly. So that was great that they added that.
yeah, that's a good catch on their part. So the battlefield is a war-torn battlefield with a road running the length of it, short edge to short edge. So you've got some distance there. Deployment. So the defender's deployment zone is within 12 inches of one short edge. The escape route is the opposite short edge. The units in the convoy are allowed to move off the escape route whenever they touch this edge. The attacker's battlefield edges are the long edges, and all of their units are set up in reserve. The attacker can set up units at the end of any movement phase wholly within 12 inches of a battlefield edge and not within 9 inches of an enemy model. In the first turn, so the first turn goes to the attacker, going with the ambush idea of this convoy. I don't. You can't seize the initiative on this, so. Yeah,
and you're allowed to kind of bring them in whenever you want.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those things where, if you feel like it would be not fun to bring everything within, 2 inches of your opponent or right next to your opponent, and don't do it. Like, that's what the whole point of narrative missions is, to have a good time and to kind of actually try to reflect what's going on. So, keep that in mind as you go forward. Also, you don't want to just jump everybody right next to your opponent, because what if one of those vehicles really makes a break for it and gets away from you? They're just going to be able to run to the end of the board unmolested because you didn't bother to put any models kind of blocking them at the end either.
Yeah. The only
so for the
gripe I might have about with having to be within 12 inches of the battlefield edge for the attackers is if you have like sniper units, and considering that new Shadow Spear box is coming, with the Primaris scouts essentially, that kind of makes me go, ooh, yeah, we haven't talked about that. I want to buy that box. Okay, sorry. Go.
So the game length is so the game continues until there are no convoy models remaining on the battlefield. For victory conditions, if the power rating of the escaped convoy is greater than half the power rating of the entire convoy, so if half your convoy exits the battlefield, the defender wins a major victory. If some escape, it's a minor victory. If none escape, the attacker wins.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That could be really cool. You could go through and do some interesting things like that. All right, so attacker stratagems. Outriders, which is one command point. Set up a unit on the battlefield during deployment instead of reserve. That could be fun. It's really helpful because you can actually move and charge if you do that. Yeah. Signal Flare, which is one command point also. Used when you hit an enemy unit, all of their attacks reroll ones to hit. I like that a lot, actually. That's got the... There used to be a Tau rule like that. Or not like that exactly.
It's like Tracer Fire.
Something similar. Melter Rig, which is 2 command points. Pick an enemy vehicle within 1 inch of your infantry units. and deal d6 mortal wounds once per turn. So that's 2 command points. So, there's actually a, kind of using a melt-a-bomb.
Yeah.
Which in case, if you don't have a melt-a-bomb in that unit or whatever, so that would actually be quite nice, depending on how you've built your army.
Yeah, and since you can only use... since in narrative play you can use stratagems ad nauseum...
Yeah.
This one specifies you can only use it once per turn. So that's
a good idea. To keep it from being burned through too quickly.
You're right. So defender stratagems. This is the convoy, basically. Field repairs. For 1 command point, you can repair a vehicle within 1 inch of one of your infantry units and repair d6 wounds. Temporary displacer field. For 2 command points, you can use that at the start of the enemy's shooting phase, and all the units in the convoy are -1 to hit.
Okay.
And then you have breakout action for 1 command point. Units in the convoy add d6 inches to their movement. So they basically get if you advance with them, so they're going an extra 2d6 inches. So that's really cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that definitely is kind of showing desperation of trying to just get away. So
yeah. So this is I love this mission. This is a great mission, and I think we've had similar ones in the past, and I think it's been streamlined quite a bit. I think it's a little bit better than it was before. And it's definitely one I would use in my games.
I think there was a similar one in Kalyan for some reason. I could be wrong.
I think there wasn't. There's one very similar one in the core rulebook as well.
Okay.
It has a very different deployment type. The deployment is a little bit different. It's got like more of a surrounded. The convoy can be a little bit farther in that one.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you're kind of forced to travel a little bit more of a distance. And I think it's a lot more streamlined. I like this one a lot more.
Yeah.
You'll note that some of the stratagems are reused throughout these missions, and I think it would be good to have a deck of narrative play stratagems at some point, because I feel like some of these they're being repeated. They're not really all that unique to a mission.
Right.
It would be nice to get a deck of just all the stratagems from Imperium Nihilus at some point. That would be really cool.
That would be pretty cool. All right, so
you want to do Hold Your Gains? You want to read the flavor text for that one?
Oh yeah, the title of this, Hold Your Gains makes me kind of giggle, or maybe not giggle, but definitely grin. All right, so read description. Here we go. Bitterly won strategic locations are vulnerable to counterattack. The defeated army eager to regain their lost ground. The beleaguered victors have little time to consolidate their gains before they must mount their defense and hold on until further reinforcements arrive.
So this represents an army holding an important position, and it's immediately after taking it. So they have taken this they have taken this important position, and now they have to hold off for reinforcements as the attacker tries to retake the position.
Yeah, and there's plenty of stories from wars where this would happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So,
this is a clear. I mean, this can be used. Yes.
Yeah, for anything. I mean, it's not that it's generic. Great. It's just it can be used for any sort of. I mean, well, it kind of is generic, but not really. Anyways, so for your battlefield, you need to create a proper war-torn landscape with a defensible ruin or building in the center where the defender can deploy a large sum of their army. So you're going to have a decent-sized area. The map has a 9-inch radius, so 18 in diameter.
You don't want something that'll be hard to put models on, because you're going to have, as you'll hear, you need to put a lot of models there.
Yeah.
So the player with the highest power rating should be the defender. And the defender's deployment zone is within 9 inches of the center of the battlefield, and they deploy first. This deployment is only a third of their power rating of the whole army, with the rest in reserve. Then the attacker sets up within 12 inches of each short battlefield edge.
Yeah.
The defender's battlefield are on the defender's battlefield edges are the long edges. Okay. They're not putting any models there right now, but that's where the reinforcements are going to come from. So the defender's reserves each arrive on a 3+ at the end of each of their movement phases, wholly within 12 inches along battlefield edge and not within 9 inches of attacking models. And by the time turn 4 rolls around, if they haven't arrived yet, they arrive automatically.
Yeah, that's good. Otherwise, man, by turn 4, that's kind of rough.
But you see why you need a big ruin for the middle. That way you can fit a third of your army in it and be protected.
And definitely have like multi-level, you know. As I'm seeing this, it needs to be something tall with lots of levels that can be, you know, they can take a third of your army.
Right.
All right, so for your first turn, that's the attacker as well, because you would assume the defender has just taken the ruin, the hill. So the battle length is random. So I guess it's the random rule that you typically use for games.
Yeah, 5+, 4+.
Yeah,
automatic.
Victory conditions: the player with the most power level within 12 inches of the center of the battlefield at the end of the game wins a major victory. Ooh, that's interesting. And
yeah, it's very simple, cut and dry.
Yeah,
response.
So whoever's got that 12, whoever's still holding that center, that's the winner. All right, so we've got some attack stratagems. We have Dawn Assault for 2 command points, and you use the Dawn Raid rules. Cover ground,
that
1 command point.
Hold on,
What?
Dawn Raid. If your mission uses the Dawn Raid, both players must subtract 1 from all hit rolls made in the shooting phase during the first battle round of the game.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Then call in reinforcements. I like this. 3 command points. A destroyed unit is returned to play. Saying this is a here comes reinforcements. We have something else in reserve. But for 3 command points, you could bring back something nasty.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that one.
So the defender stratagems are rapid reinforcements. So for the defender, you can have a unit automatically arrive from reserves for 1 command point. Dug-in defenses for 2 command points. One unit has +1 to +1 to its saves until it moves for any reason.
Yeah.
Hold your ground. All models in the army have +1 leadership. So those are definitely defensive stratagems. Those are great.
Yeah, especially the +1 leadership, because if you take some abuse or you take some damage, that could be a pretty rough thing.
You're getting pounded that first turn. +1 armor save and +1 leadership are really good to have.
Yeah. All right, so our next Crucible of War mission is Storm the Lines. You get the description out here. The defenders are deeply fortified within their strongholds, but although they are well dug in, they lack mobility. The attackers have brought a massive force to bear in an attempt to overwhelm the enemy through sheer numbers.
So this is a more straightforward, I think. Like the second one I really liked as for a lot of different narratives. I definitely would see myself using that one. This one is like a direct frontal assault type mission. Absolutely. This is representing an attacking force trying to slam through the enemy. And you know what? I would still see myself using this in a narrative campaign.
Oh yeah.
It's not my favorite, but the deployment is really interesting. So the lower power level player is going to be the defender, and they get to set up the battlefield. So they determine what the battlefield is, right? The defender has 2 lines of deployment, one within 12 inches of one short battlefield edge, and that's like the second line deployment zone. And then another one, so then they have like 12 inches of no man's land between that one and the next deployment area, which is another 12 inches deep that goes to the middle of the battlefield. Okay, so that's the front line deployment zone. So then the attacker's deployment zone is 12 inches from the opposite end. So it's 2 stripes of defenses on one side and then one kind of short, small deployment at the other end. And the attacker, it's intended that the attacking side, like the attacking half of the battlefield, has almost no terrain in it. It's like this giant empty no man's land that they have to cross in order to reach the defenders. And the defenders' position should be entrenched and like fortified and have, ruins and fortifications in it. Okay.
Like maybe trench warfare?
Yeah.
That might be
some
something.
trenches would be good.
Some of the trenches that came with I don't even remember what box set that came with. Yeah, maybe you could use those or build, barricades to have that sort of narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah. So first turn on there is random. We then have the sustained assault rules. The attacker uses the sustained assault rules, which just basically the short definition of that is that any of the attacker's units that are destroyed can be brought back into play later in battle, just to represent almost limitless supply of reinforcements, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, that's especially if you have some sort of wave army,
Right.
Especially if you don't have a huge collection of models as well. So if you're playing Tyranids, if things die off, who cares? Because, you just keep rolling through.
There's always more.
And to be perfectly honest, if you're playing Tyranids, you need to have like a couple of boxes of them just overflowing. Hazardous drop. The attacker can't deep strike in either of the defender's deployment zones, which that's pretty cool. It's an interesting rule. I hadn't really thought about that, but that would work quite well. Battle length is random. And then victory conditions. You want to take those, Adam?
Show.
Okay.
If the attacker has any units in the second line, in the second deployment zone, they win a major victory. So,
okay.
At the end of the random game length, if they have managed to break through and get to that second line of defense, they win. If the attacker only has units in the front line deployment zone, then you have to compare the power ratings in that zone. Whoever has the highest wins a major victory as well.
Okay.
And then presumably any other result is a defender victory because they were able to hold them off.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because especially since you're not allowed to deep strike, so anyone that comes through has to chew through that first line.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so for stratagems, we have attacker stratagems. First one up is outflanking reinforcements for 2 command points. When you bring in a unit with sustained assault, it can be set up along any battlefield edge. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty great.
Yeah, that is pretty great. That actually is really great.
I think the rule saying that you can't enter play in one of the deployment zones would apply to that, though.
Okay, good. But there's still like a 12-inch or 6-inch deployment zone in between.
Yes.
But no, it's a 12-inch. Sorry, I'm looking at the... I should look at the book before I say things. All right. Where are we? Cover ground for 1 command point, so they automatically advance 6 inches. And then Dawn Assault, which is 2 command points, and use the Dawn Raid rules, which, let me go back to them very quickly. Both players must subtract 1 from all hit rolls made in the shooting phase during the first battle round of that game. So I guess you could just bring that up like maybe dawn happens. Or, of course, in Battlefield you could say it's gotten so dark and cruddy with everything being thrown into the air that's...
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it makes sense that the attacker would pick that because they choose when the attack happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The defender stratagems are traps for 1 command point. You select a unit arriving from reserves and roll a dice for each model, dealing 1 mortal wound for each 6. Dug-in defenses. Pick a unit. They have +1 save until they move. And hold your ground is the same as the previous mission, +1 leadership for the entire army for 1 turn. So this mission, they reuse a lot of the stratagems.
Yeah.
I think this Storm of the Lines mission would be great. You can use this Storm of the Lines as initial assault, and then you can actually follow up with a Hold Your Gains mission to represent if the attacker wins, that means that they took that position, and then the attacker becomes the defender in the next mission because they're holding that territory that they took.
Yeah.
And in that mission, the attacker is actually the former defender from the Storm of the Lines mission, right?
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that would be really cool. And what you could even do, you could do the Storm of the Lines, right? And then you could do a convoy representing the the people who took that territory, trying to bring more supplies to the position that they just took. And then you can do Hold Your Gains, and then whoever, like if the defender, if you are able to get the convoy off the battlefield, perhaps you have some kind of benefit during Hold Your Gains for getting reserves back or something like that. Or maybe there's a stratagem that you can use that improves your ammunition. Like maybe the convoy brought some special equipment that you can use, and you get access to a special stratagem if you manage to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a fun
or even a relic.
Series of narrative games. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So just those 3, you can string those together into a narrative.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten into the other 3 Crucible of War missions. But we'll definitely talk about those next time.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't know. This book is full of a lot of fun stuff, dude. I really like it.
Yeah, and we have... is there another book coming out? Is that the rumor? I mean...
Yeah, the rumor is that there's another... Well, it's not really a rumor. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to get out... We're going to have Abaddon, and we're going to have new Chaos Space Marines and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And we have that Shadow Spear book coming out, so we're going to have
Shadow Spear's coming out
too.
Some new Marines with autocannons, which is super awesome. I've always wanted Marines with autocannons that are not just the Reaper autocannon with the Chaos Space Marine box.
Yeah.
Or what is it? What are they called?
Oh.
Whatever they are. Whatever those guys are. The rude heavy weapon teams from the Chaos Space Marines.
I don't remember. It's late.
Yeah, it's late. Let's take a quick break and come back and close out the show. Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Well, don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
This is Rob Sanders, and you're listening to the Masters of the Forge, where the world of 40k comes to life on your tabletop. So
next week, or next month, we should know what's up with the new Chaos stuff.
Yeah.
With the new Vigilus book. So, I mean, I still want to go over the next 3 missions, so we'll do in this book. So maybe we'll do a quick, we'll do it like we did this week, where we do a quick segment talking about those missions and folding them into a campaign. But next week, I kind of want to talk about Abaddon. Are you cool with that? Abadabadabadon?
Yeah.
So why don't we do a narrative segment on Abaddon? By then we should know more about what he's up to.
Yeah.
And also, I will see if I can't read Talon of Horus.
Oh,
I think you've already read it, correct? Yeah, I haven't read it yet. So I'm going to try reading Talon of Horus so I can kind of get in his head a little bit. And we'll talk about his lore. I'm not sure what else we'll talk about, but I'm sure it'll be fun. If we do get any preview copies, we will do a prototypes episode talking about that. Okay. So I guess that's it.
Yeah. Well, we need to tell people where they can find us.
Yeah, please come to Facebook and join our little band of merry folk. We have a Discord channel, so if you want to be on that, message us on Facebook and we will send you a Discord invitation.
Yep.
Or you can email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com.
You can also find us on our website, mastersoftheforge.com. And we're on Twitter as well, right?
Twitter, Masters of Forge.
Yeah. And if you look for the hashtag Masters of the Forge on Instagram, you can find my stuff at least. Because I'm the only person who uses it. Aww.
Aww. So, the time has come to say goodbye. And hope that when I press stop on Audacity, it doesn't disappear. I'm so sore. I'm ready. So we will see you in March for another episode where I will be drawing ever closer to my certain doom.
Impending fatherhood. Dun, dun, dun.
But until then...
Play the game the way you want to.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com. The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.